So, welcome everybody to the formal renaming ceremony for the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic. It's amazing to see what feels like family. I know for everybody, I've gotten so many comments about like, wow, it feels like family. And that's exactly what it is. First, I'm going to do something unexpected, which is I will keep my comments very brief. First thing I will say is I want to thank those on our team who helped organize the evening. Can you hear me in the back now?
No.
Well, it's not about me, it's how the other people are going to be speaking who maybe don't have loud enough voices either. Okay, can you hear me now? In the back, tell me if you can hear me. My sons are telling me they can't hear me, but that you always say that. It doesn't go any louder, so I'm going to have to shout. So I want to thank Jennifer Thomas, our division manager, who was instrumental in putting this together. Our budget is due on Monday, but her priorities are in line. Lauren Davidson, who also was instrumental in pulling this together and made these lovely programs. The San Francisco General Hospital Foundation, who helped us in partnership pull this evening together. We've got Sarah, we've got Molly, we've got Jeremy. You guys are somewhere. I saw you somewhere. Where are you? There they are. San Francisco General Hospital Foundation. Thank you for your help in organizing this. The Evite was great. Thank you. I want to thank, there's no nepotism involved here, the band, which includes, can you hear me now? Eitan Schillinger-Hyman on bass.
Yeah.
He could have picked a bunch of instruments, but today he picked the bass. Gabriel Schillinger-Hyman on keyboards. And Zach Cummings on the drums. Thank you. And they were very kind and played the old farts music for us, but they can do other stuff too if you have requests. And they'll be playing after our reflections today. They'll close it out tonight. I think that's it for thanks. And what I really want to turn now to is the main program. And the first thing I want to do, and for those of you who are in the back, I'm going to encourage you to come up front, because we are going to unveil the portrait of Richard H. Fine, otherwise known as Dick. And this portrait was inspired by a photo of Dick. The artist, Michelle McKinney, had never met Dick when he was alive, but she has watched the film numerous times, and she's heard me talk about him numerous times. So I think together, if I could invite Michelle McKinney up, wherever you are. Here she comes. This portrait will hang somewhere in the clinic. We got to put a work order into the city, which will take about 20 years to get filled. So I'm going to have to be holding the portrait for the next 20 years in the clinic. Michelle, maybe just a few comments on what inspired you to do this portrait, and then we will unveil.
Okay. Hi everyone, thanks for coming tonight. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. I wrote a few things down because my brain is like not together right now. It's like the Oscars, kind of. Thanks everyone for coming. The warmth and love is very palpable here today.
I'll hold it for you,
the
so you can use your hands.
Community is very strong. When Dean asked me if I'd like to do a portrait commission, the first thing I said was yes. And after I found out the subject was Dr. Fine, I felt like laughing with happiness. This is going to be fun. I knew I'd have a rich palette to work with in terms of his charisma, reputation, impact, accomplishments, and larger-than-life personality. With the process, I knew that non-traditional color was going to be a big element, so I chose cool colors that are soothing, like the city sky at dusk with accents of gold and silver, kind of like what you see in the street lights and building lights. The colors were also symbolic of tie-dye in the 60s, San Francisco, and springtime, of hope, which was part of Dick's work and that of those he championed. The smaller photos pay homage to what Dick was about, what he did, and what he loved. Dean initially asked me if I could throw an image of Dick on his bike in there, and it just ballooned into putting it all into the painting, at least all that I could fit. There were times during the process where I said, "Tell me how to fix this, Dick. Tell me what to do." And near the end, "Let's get this done." I feel like he gave me guidance and the thumbs up to do my best. I never got a chance to meet Dick, so I didn't know him personally, but after this experience, I feel like I know him intimately. He was with me through the whole adventure. I'm honored to have been chosen to represent Dr. Fine, and can now also say, I too want to be like Dick.
All right. And for those of you who will fall in love with Michelle's painting, I put her website, I'm totally advertising for her right now, I put her website on the program, and she brought some brochures, I think, of some of her other cards. She does amazing portraiture that is like much more wacko than the painting that she just is going to show you now. But are you Vanna White? So you guys, you will have a lot of time to look at it up close later, but here we go. So he's kind of here with us, right?
Okay, so here are the colors I was talking about. This is Tikkun Olam, which is healing the world. We go around clockwise. We have Dick on his boat. A younger Dick, I guess. Dick on his bike. Healthcare is a human right. The raised fist. Howard's the AIDS ribbon. Indian Land Alcatraz, the American Indian movement from 1969. And finally, the Black Panther movement.
And on his breast pocket it says Dick with a stethoscope hanging out, which he never actually used. It was a prop. That rounded out the painting. It's lovely. Thank you, Michelle. So now I'm going to ask, and I'm going to go a little bit out of order because of family requests. We're going to start with Kathleen Campbell, who I'm sure all of you know, who wanted to get her talk out of the way so she could enjoy what everybody else had to say. Kathleen, come on up wherever you are. Here she is.
Okay.
And you are going to have to talk loud.
I know.
You want me to hold it for you, or you want? I can.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. Okay. I am so hoarse from talking to people. So you can yell when you're in a room like this, but it's such a pleasure to see you all. It makes me really happy. So, and just so you know, my talk is 4 minutes. I timed it. So, my name is Kathleen Campbell. I have to look down to be sure of that. Dick Fine's wife. I'm not comfortable with the widow thing yet, so I'm not going there. We first met in August 1974 when I came to work at the hospital as a secretary in the outpatient department and was assigned to share an office with Dick's secretary, Rita. That first day, and those of you who complain about computerized medical records, the appointment books were on 3-hole punch loose leaf pages that were scattered on the floor of her office while she wrote in by hand each resident's schedule when they were on vacation, when they were on the ER, you know, all that kind of stuff. So whatever you have, it's probably better. He was, yeah, a little bit. Dick, of course, was chief of the outpatient department, terribly responsible job, and he had an ironclad rule that he never, ever under any circumstances, dated anybody who worked at the hospital. One day, he offered me a ride home from work on his BMW motorcycle to my flat at 23rd and Guerrero. He had a helmet for me. And then our first date, oh well, we rode on the motorcycle to Washington Square Park, where we saw the San Francisco meme troupe perform Curse of the Dragon Lady, which was about Madame New in the Vietnam War. And I see that there are people nodding who are old enough to remember that. So eventually we moved in together, we got married. Actually, we moved in together almost immediately. It was just a lot later that we got married. Sorry, hippies. We had 2 daughters, Sarah and Lynn. Woo! Woohoo! And he put me through law school. Bless his heart. Mortgaged his house, almost paid off. So much for that. We had a great run, 41 years. What a gift. I'm glad he broke his rule. He had a phrase he liked to quote from a talk on poetry given by Dylan Thomas. It goes like this. I'm only human, cries the man, who deep in his heart refuses to believe it. I'll say that again. I'm only human, cries the man, who deep in his heart refuses to believe it. Dick knew he was only human, but deep in his heart he refused to believe it. He did everything he could to overcome his human limitations. He lived his life totally committed to providing the best health care as a right to the poor and the disenfranchised. At the same time that he was a busy doctor, teacher, and administrator, he was a full-on husband and father. Not easy. So, he helped me have a satisfying career as a federal court attorney while sharing his love of food, which, thank God, he cooked, and his love of books, music, art, and nature, as well as his wide circle of friends. He reveled in raising twins, teaching Sarah and Lynn to swim, ski, and ride horses, and introducing them to places he loved, like New Mexico, and then letting them introduce him to places they loved, like Argentina. It is a measure of Dick's devotion to family that despite his illness, in the last few months of his life, he flew to Argentina to walk Sarah down the aisle at her wedding to Sergio, and then to Connecticut to visit his brother Jerry and his wife Sally and their family and go on one last fishing trip. Really meant a lot. Medical clinic was also his home, and its staff were also his family. He thought about the people of the clinic, staff and patients, literally 24/7. He would often wake up in the middle of the night and write notes about work on Post-its. He was considerate enough that he had a pen that was designed with a light built into the point. So he didn't have to turn on the lamp and wake me up. That's a good guy. So his whole family is very grateful for the honor of the naming of the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic after him. And we're super happy that he received all the recent honors, the Medicine Grand Rounds, the Murray Award, the movie, and the clinic naming while he was still alive to enjoy them. We want to thank the San Francisco General Hospital Foundation and the Department of General Internal Medicine and everybody who helped put this on. And thank you all for being here.
Thanks, Kathleen. So we're going to leapfrog in the friends and family discount spirit to have Sarah and Lynn Fine, who also wanted to get it out of the way so they can enjoy everybody else's speeches. to come on up, and you know, it's a twin thing. I know you guys are like, you should each have your own slot. I'm just saying, you should each have your own slot.
As a father of twins,
As a father of twins, exactly.
All right, I think they have to do it on the mic, right?
Yeah, we'll do it on mic.
Okay. Oh, actually, let me grab my water. Grabbing my water.
I'm Sarah, she's Lynn. Okay? Red, blue, green.
More than that.
More than, yes.
Hi, everyone. Hi. So lots of kids are scared of hospitals, but we have always felt at home in them because we pretty much grew up at General. Other people tell Sarah and I apart, oftentimes people do, because of the scar on my forehead. And basically when I was a little kid, I decided I wanted to climb the magnolia tree out back, and instead my mom said no, so in protest I went to climb the rocking chair, flew off and catapulted me into the sliding glass door, split my head open, and of course my mom scooped me up, scooped up my sister, and took us straight to General. To my dad, to safety.
My very first memory of being here at this very hospital is that memory. I can still picture the exact room where Lynn was taken to a T. The color of the floor, where the phone was, and how our dad roared into action.
They even gave me a colorful butterfly Band-Aid because I was too squeamish for stitches.
I, of course, was jealous and demanded they give me a butterfly Band-Aid too, which they did. My turn. That's only one of many examples of how San Francisco General has always been an integral part of our family. Our pops would drive us to the hospital on the weekends, on the motorcycle of course, which we thought was totally normal, to check in on patients. We would entertain ourselves by rollerblading down the halls. We would pop into people's room with a friendly smile and surely an unexpected greeting. Actions our dad completely encouraged. I think it's pretty clear by now, he was never your by-the-book traditional physician.
So I didn't find it sad that people were sick. I was instead encouraged and hopeful as my experience at the General illustrated it was a place of care, deep love, compassion, and respect for anyone and everyone, no matter your rank and stature. Our dad demonstrated that anyone, from the man begging on the street to Zuckerberg himself, deserved the same level of care. He taught us to apply these same principles in our own work and to pay more attention to what people did and how they treated others than their status.
He loved it here. He was at home here. He always felt that his General people were an extended part of our family. When I first started working here, I was eager to forge my own path. I felt the need to downplay being the legendary earring-wearing, motorcycle-riding Dick Fine's daughter. Now, I want to shout it from the brick-building rooftops and understand it's a tremendous privilege to be his daughter and to work alongside all of you, furthering the health justice efforts he began championing over 40 years ago. I can only hope to honor his legacy with integrity, grit, and of course a hell of a lot of sass.
When we are unsure about whether a choice we're making is the right one, we ask ourselves, what would Dad tell me to do if he was here? What would Dad have done? We hear him saying, "What's the real problem, sweet pea? And what can you do to fix it?" We let him show us the way. As most of you know, our dad wasn't a take orders quietly kind of guy and would never stand by and watch something happen that just didn't feel right in his gut. Losing our dad at first felt like the air was being sucked right out of us. Now he's the wind at our backs, giving us a nudge when we need it most and pushing us forward, just as he did when we were little girls learning to ride our bikes for the first time.
We listen to him as he tells us that it's up to those of us with education, privilege, and political power to bend the arc towards justice, even if it sometimes means bending the rules. His legacy inspires us to honor the revolutionary and progressive institution whose culture he irrevocably shaped. By searching inward for what is maybe unpopular, but deeply right. He is in all of us, and we hope whenever you walk through the doors of the Richard H. Fine Clinic, you channel our dad. He'll lead you down one hell of a road.
We believe that the legacy of the clinic, bearing his name, can help us all when we're confronted with tough choices. We can ask ourselves, what would Dr. Dick Fine have done? And let the answer guide our way.
If he were here today, he would be in awe of the love you bestowed upon him, of the remarkable new hospital. And then he would come out with a sharp as nails wisecrack and urge us to do better. Let's do him proud. And as he would say if he were here today, let's go kick some ass. Thank you.
I don't know, I wonder why he was such a family man. So one of the great things, well, the second best thing about the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic, apart from the patients we take care of, is the staff. The faculty, doctors, residents with whom I have the pleasure of sharing stories and helping each other solve difficult problems, the unparalleled nursing staff, the always upbeat medical assistants, and the chronically overworked but somehow magically juggling clerical staff are what make the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic so great. I twisted the arm of Fern Ebeling. Where are you, Fern? Fern, come on up. Fern said she has a fear of public speaking, and I said, this is not public speaking. This does not count. This is family. You're talking to your family. So, you want me to hold the mic, or you want to hold the mic?
No, I'll hold it. Thank you.
Dean also told me that from an old Brady Bunch episode that I'm naked up here.
No,
so.
they're naked. They're I didn't say that.
I guess I got that one wrong.
That would be sexual harassment. I would never say that.
Okay, all right, you're off the hook, Dean.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I do hate public speaking, but it's true. Most of the people in this room are really family, as Kathleen and Sarah and Lynn said, that Dick considered us all his extended family. And I stand up here as one nurse, and actually I would like, because I was told I only have 2 minutes, so some of that time is going to be used up by having every nurse that was back in the day, please come up and join me. You know who you are. It took up more of my time. But really, I stand up here speaking very proudly to be a member of this group of nurses that Dick was responsible for hiring along with Tricia Winder. Dick and many, yes. One of Dick's radical ideas that you could actually take care of people in an ambulatory care setting, pretty radical back in the 70s, also included having nursing be a part of primary care. And with his and Trisha's vision, put together this incredible group of nurses. And Terry Cahill's missing, actually. She's in India right now, but she should be standing up here. We're all very proud to have been part of Dick and Trisha's vision to be able to carry out the mission of our hospital, which is to care for the underserved. So I just want to say, you know, again, I'm proud to stand up here amongst all of you, and we thank Dick, and the fact that, you know, his name is going to go on our clinic is just a legacy, and so feels so right to have a name up there that really deserves, you know, Dick's history in the clinic and his vision. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Fern. I think you did pretty good, Fern. Now I get to invite my good friend and colleague, Dr. Jeff Critchfield, who has a very James Bond title at the hospital. He is CMXO. It's true, CMXO. Guys, could you give me a little James Bond music? Not yet. Okay, we'll do that later. Come on. Chief Medical Experience Officer and good friend of Dick and Kathleen, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, off the top now. Good evening. To get on with my 2 minutes, so some years ago, my wife Laura and I moved in a few doors down from Dick and his family up in Peralta. And so in the theme of this family thing, so Dick came down and welcomed us to the neighborhood, and then as he did for so many, he really welcomed us into his life, and he shared his family with us on so many occasions. Sarah and Lynn were 6 at the time. Nice to see you guys tonight. What I was going to share with you is a celebration, since tonight is such a celebration, and it's kind of like the beginning of something. We had this tradition of sharing birthdays, and on the birthday we would do 2 things. We would read a passage from The Secret Language of Birthday books, which I'll do for you tonight for Dick. And then we would go around the table and share some thought or memory of how that person the past year had touched you. And so I'll read for you the day of June 6th, which is Dick Fine's birthday. The day of the visionary. June 6 people have a vision which is truly a part of them. It can manifest in their profession, family affairs, or field of study, but will influence every aspect of their life. Carrying through on their often far-reaching plans is given top priority. The greatest danger to June 6 people is that their vision will carry them to extremes of both word and deed. Negative results of such extremism can range from personal injury to even death. Thus, those born on this day must be guarded in the unusual energies granted them. Polarities of all sorts captivate and attract June 6 people. Those born on this day have little time for compromise or seeking the meaning in life, but usually go flat out after their goals and desires. Less highly evolved people born on this day have crackpot schemes and flawed visions which they are unable to realize. Those most successful June 6 people inevitably use their visionary abilities to enlighten and advance those around them, often through a unique kind of communication, whether written, spoken, or nonverbal. The ideas of such people serve as an inspiration to those capable of understanding them. Those born on June 6 have a revolutionary zeal, a desire to remake existing social structures as they see it for the better. Above all, freedom is the watchword of this day. So, thanks to Dick for his visionary creativity that started the General Medical Clinic, but I think thanks so much from so many for his revolutionary zeal to have that culminate in the Richard Fine People's Clinic. So thank you very much.
Where did he find that June 6th thing? So leave it up to Jeff. He's always sending me stuff, just like Dick used to send me stuff. Okay, now it's my pleasure to introduce my long-standing colleague and problem solver, Brenda Barrows. Where is Brenda? Brenda Barrows, Senior Unit Clerk of the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic.
Hello, everybody. I guess Dick would say that, you know, I'm the rebel, and I can hear him saying, "Okay, Brenda," before I get started, but I'm going to say it anyway. As usual. I just wanted to say that I want to talk about the things that I missed and what I hope will be sustained in the clinic. There were some good things, and we're having a lot of changes, but there's some things I think we need to remember. So these are the things that stuck in my head that he exuded. Be real, even if it's uncomfortable. Be active in the community, become part of it. Respect labor. Always willing to listen, even if you don't agree. We are all equal. Fight for what's right for our patients. Be ethnically competent. Know how to have fun and work hard and play hard. To Dick's family, thanks for sharing them with me for 30 years. And we could have not have picked a better person to name the clinic after as a permanent reminder to all of us about what healthcare should be.
So there are a few of us in the room who have had the pleasure of following Dick in his footsteps as medical director of the clinic that he founded, and I am going to now bring up the current medical director of the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic, Claire Horton.
I'm very pleased that actually all my notes for this talk are on Post-its. I feel like that's really fitting. Can people hear me? In the back, very. So in thinking about this, I was thinking the really nice thing about speaking at a Dick Fine event is you really can say anything you want. So that's comforting. But really, when having the great honor currently being the medical director of the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic, when I think about Dick when I'm walking around clinic, I think about several things. One thing is what very big shoes there are to fill. And in addition to being big shoes to fill in terms of his medical directorship, he also started some important traditions in clinic. One of which is that all the medical directors have twins. And I don't. And so I do worry sometimes that despite the wonders of modern contraception in my advancing age, that life may still have some surprises in store. The second thing I always think about is just his sense of humor, and I think we can all picture that laugh. So this week, for example, when we found out that we were suddenly receiving $100,000 worth of furniture that we didn't really order, and we're not receiving some things that we thought we did order, I think that Dick would have turned around and made lemonade out of those lemons. Which, don't worry, it's all okay now. There's a lot of mixed messages. We figured it all out. But I also think that he would have seen the inherent humor in the situation, and I think that's what it takes to thrive in a situation like this. The third thing I always think about is just what a phenomenal job he did at hiring people. And so every time we have a retirement event or we have a big clinic event, and I am talking to people who I just think to myself, wow, this clinic would not be this clinic without this person or that person. I feel like almost inevitably they were hired by Dick Fine. And that's maybe the thing that I would aspire to emulate the most, is just what a keen sense of who are just the great people to bring on board to the team are and who is really going to pull it off. So to finish off, I wanted to write a little haiku for Dick. And I couldn't actually make the thoughts that I wanted to go into the haiku fit within the traditional framework. And then I thought, what the hell, it's a Dick Fine event. I can do whatever the hell I want with this haiku. So here's the haiku. Who graces our wall? Dick Fine, doctor, legend, friend. Sail on, skipper, we'll tend the home fires. But I also think it's very fitting, and Dick would have wanted this, that our final speaker is a friend and patient in our clinic, Ms. Jane Fox, and we'd like to have Jane come up and say.
Not to worry.
All right.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jane Fox, and I have been a patient at the 1M Now Dick Fine Clinic since about '98, I think it was. And I have gotten nothing but superlative care. And I will hear some people sometimes say, oh, well, the general this and that, and I do not believe any of it, because I'm here, and I have been here, and it's just a wonderful place to be. The staff and all the way up and down the line are just so wonderful. They're easygoing, and they are friendly, and they talk with everybody equally, which is really something close to my heart. And it's a wonderful thing to share and witness. And now Claire's my doctor. Man, I finally hit the top of the line now. And I'm also friends with Kathleen, Dick's wife. And so I've met Dick several times, but I'm more friendly with Kathleen, but I know what a wonderful family they are and how important he has been to his family and how he still is important to his family and his extended family. And we all just are so grateful for Dick and his high-flying ideals that we get to emulate. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Okay, so we're wrapping up, and I know everybody wants to take a look at the painting up close. I've asked Dr. Neal Poe, who is the chief of the medical service, to be our closer tonight. Neal, you know how closing is, so go for it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out and making a tribute to. I want to thank you all for all coming out tonight for this tribute to a man, a physician, a colleague, a friend, a father, a husband, and a legend. As you heard, for 40 years, Dick provided care and shaped social values here at this hospital. You could say he was one of those drum majors for social justice. Dick felt that health care was a right for all people, and he championed that notion. And he created this clinic, he directed it, and he provided care in it. Care to patients that many others would not even treat. And he wanted all of us to do that as well. I think that's why he started on that journey. He cared for the poor, the homeless, as you heard, those who were politically isolated, Native Americans, Black Panthers, patients with HIV and AIDS, and the incarcerated. And Dick did it with conviction, love, and I think most of all, kindness that he provided, or I would say, showered us all with. So it's fitting that this clinic be named the Richard H. Fine People's Clinic. So let the naming of this clinic be a beacon for patients who seek prevention and early treatment so that they don't end up in the hospital or even dead. And let it also be a way that we can remember this legendary physician and humanitarian. I want to thank you all. Thank you to our artists who did this wonderful portrait. And I think it'll be a wonderful way for us to remember Dick and see him and be with us every day. Thank you all.
Thank you, Neal. Beautiful closing, definitely a home run on the closing comments. Before I close, there were a few people I just wanted to ask if they, Maury Shamlin, you still here? Here. What do you say, Maury? All right.
Good news.
Maury said he'd only come up if there was something that somebody hadn't already said. So, here we go. This is a last-minute addition.
I'll be 2 seconds.
Take as much as you want, Maury.
So I knew Dick for probably 50 years. Kathleen once said she thought I was his resident and he was the intern. It turns out actually the way we met was I was a research fellow and Dick was supposed to present a case of grand rounds at UC. And he had just grown a beard. And at that time, Holly Smith decided if you had a beard, you couldn't present a grand round. So he came and he found me, introduced himself, asked me if I'd go up and present the case, which I did. So that's how I met Dick. So the only thing I want to say is that Joyce Hanson asked me earlier, what was it like when there was no clinic? And I said, well, we had a motto. The motto was treat 'em and street 'em. And so that's what we did until Dick came along and started the clinic. And obviously it's a lot better now. That's it.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining the family and catching up on old friends. And I'm giving Gabriel the salute right now.